Donald Trump has just delivered what may stand as the most catastrophic interview by a sitting president in modern American history. He sat down with NBC to discuss his war against Iran, and what emerged from his mouth was not strategy, not leadership, not clarity. It was a man flailing, a man contradicting himself in real time, a man who told the American people that bombing a sovereign nation's oil infrastructure was something he might do again, quote, just for fun. 13 American service members are dead, over 200 military personnel are injured, many of them seriously, and the commander-in-chief is on national television treating war like entertainment. Meanwhile, the Strait of Hormuz is functionally closed to American and allied shipping. Iranian drones are striking U.S. installations across Iraq. Israel is running critically low on missile interceptors, and not a single major ally on Earth wants to stand next to the United States right now. Two realities are colliding in plain view. The reality Donald Trump is constructing on camera, where Iran's military is 100 destroyed and everyone is begging to make deals with him, and the reality unfolding on the ground, where American embassies are under fire, allied nations are refusing to send warships, and the man who started this war cannot explain what victory looks like or articulate what the terms of any deal would be. This is not normal. Normal left the building a long time ago. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you exactly what happened in that interview, lay out 3 undeniable receipts that expose the gap between Trump's words and reality, and explain why the world you are living in today looks fundamentally different from the one that existed before this war began. Think about it like this. Imagine you have a business partner. For a year straight, that partner has threatened your clients, insulted your suppliers, tariffed your products, threatened to annex your territory, and then one day calls you in a panic, saying, "I need you to send everything you have to bail me out of a disaster I created." How long before you stop answering the phone? How long before you start building relationships with partners who do not treat you like a subordinate? Hold that thought, because that is exactly what is happening right now between the United States and every one of its traditional allies. Drop your answer in the comments. At what point does an ally become a liability you simply cannot afford? Let us rewind the clock. The chain of events that led to this moment did not begin with Iranian drones over Baghdad. It began with a U.S.-Israeli strike operation that Donald Trump greenlit, an operation his own top generals explicitly warned could trigger exactly the cascade we are now witnessing. The intelligence assessments were clear. If you strike Iran this way, they will shut down the strait, they will hit back across the region, they will escalate. Trump was told all of this. He rushed in anyway, chasing Netanyahu into a war that has now spiraled beyond anyone's ability to contain. Iran responded by doing exactly what the generals predicted. They struck across the Middle East. They functionally closed the Strait of Hormuz. Trump told NBC he was very surprised that Iran attacked other countries in response, surprised by the outcome his own military leadership put on his desk before he gave the order. What followed was not strategy. It was improvisation dressed as toughness. Trump ordered strikes on Kharg Island, Iran's primary oil export terminal. He told NBC, "We totally demolished the island," and then he said, "We may need to hit it a few more times just for fun." When you say that, you create a rallying cry that unites the Iranian population around the new Ayatollah, Moshe Khamenei. You hand the regime exactly the propaganda it needs. What a sick and demented thing to say about a war that has cost American lives. Receipt number 1. The interview exposes a president who is fabricating the entire diplomatic landscape. Trump told NBC that Iran is begging to make a deal with him. "They want to make a deal desperately with me." But he said he does not want to do a deal yet because the terms are not good enough. When NBC asked the obvious follow-up, what terms are they offering and what would be better, Trump refused to answer. He could not answer because the entire premise is a fabrication. Iran's leadership has publicly stated its position. They want full reparations for the damage caused by strikes. They want American military bases removed from the Middle East. If those conditions are met, they say they will reopen the strait. Iran's foreign minister went on MSNBC and said plainly that the Strait of Hormuz is open, just not to American, Israeli, and allied ships. Others are free to pass. Iran believes it is negotiating from strength, not desperation. Multiple nations are now negotiating directly with Tehran, bypassing Washington entirely because they see the United States not as an honest broker, but as an obstacle. Trump also claimed he is working with other countries on a plan to secure the strait. This is another fabrication. Days earlier, he told the United Kingdom to get its ships away. France immediately denied rumors it was sending battleships. Turkey publicly stated it would never be involved in this war. Italy said, "Keep us out. No one wants to be on this team." Trump spent the entire past year tariffing the world, threatening war on Canada and Denmark over Greenland, and alienating every potential coalition partner he now desperately needs, and now he is out there begging for help that no one is willing to provide. The coalition he describes on camera does not exist in any form. Receipt number 2. The military reality on the ground demolishes every claim coming out of the White House. Trump has stated repeatedly that 100% of Iran's military capability has been destroyed. Set that claim next to what is actually happening. Tel Aviv is being bombarded harder than at any point in Israel's history by a combination of Iranian and Hezbollah strikes. The U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad was hit by Iranian drones. Video captured a Shahed drone flying through Camp Victory in Iraq, essentially unintercepted, navigating freely, finding its target, and striking with devastating precision. A Giraffe 1X multi-mission radar system designed to counter exactly these drones was destroyed. Black smoke rose from the Way's port of Fujairah, the country's only oil export terminal outside the strait, after an Iranian strike. Kuwait reported several drones struck its international airport, and here is the interceptor crisis that makes everything exponentially worse. Israel has formally informed the United States it is running critically low on ballistic missile interceptors. U.S. officials told Semaphore that Washington had been aware of this for months. One official called it something we expected and anticipated. If you anticipated running out of interceptors, why did you rush headlong into this war? If the U.S. is not facing a similar shortage, why are Patriot and THAAD systems being pulled from South Korea and repositioned to the Middle East? Why is there a supplemental funding request specifically for more interceptors? The United States is staring at a munitions crisis in real time. I was showing you this data a month before this war started. I put the charts and graphs on screen. If I could see this coming from publicly available information, what were the people with classified intelligence doing when they greenlit this catastrophe? Receipt number 3, the Zelensky betrayal and the Russia connection. This is where the picture becomes genuinely alarming. During the same interview, Trump attacked President Zelensky, calling him far more difficult to deal with than Putin. He told NBC, "The last person I need help from is Zelensky. I do not want his help at all. Here is the context Trump does not want you to have." Zelensky offered the United States drone interceptor technology and satellite systems designed to counter the exact Shahed drones devastating American positions across the Middle East. Right now, Ukraine has become arguably the most experienced nation on earth at neutralizing these weapons because Russia has been firing them at Ukrainian cities for years. The U.S. military formally requested this assistance. Zelensky agreed. Trump personally blocked the transfer. Now, layer on the Russia dimension. Trump lifted sanctions on Russian oil against the explicit wishes of the entire G7. 6 other nations said absolutely not. Trump did it anyway to help Putin at the exact moment Russia is publicly helping Iran target Americans. Zelensky confirmed this directly to Fared Zakaria. Ukrainian intelligence verified that Russian-made components are inside the drones hitting American bases. Russian intelligence is being shared with Iran to locate American troops and assets. Russia explicitly stated that if the West helps Ukraine, Russia will help the Iranian regime. So the picture in plain view is this. Trump helps Russia sell oil. Russia helps Iran kill Americans. Trump rejects help from the one ally who knows how to stop the weapons Russia is supplying. Ukraine has been conducting a successful counteroffensive. Look at the maps of Zaporizhia and the gains Ukraine has made with its own drone technology. Russia is desperate, and Trump is handing Putin the ultimate bailout. In my First Amendment-protected opinion, this is the most treasonous and traitorous convergence of decisions I have ever witnessed from an American president. The underlying facts that inform that opinion are undisputed. If this analysis is connecting dots you have not seen assembled anywhere else, you are already ahead of most people. Watching this unfold, hit subscribe right now. This situation is evolving faster than any single outlet can track. I will have another video in just a few hours covering the expansion of this war across the entire globe. You need to be here when it drops. Here is the contrast that defines this crisis. On one side, you have leaders across Europe, the Middle East, and Ukraine doing what strategists do, building networks, negotiating directly with each other, creating bypasses around Washington because they have concluded that the United States under Trump is not a reliable partner, but a hazard. Zelensky offers drone defense expertise while running a successful counteroffensive. Iran's foreign minister conducts international media tours laying out clear terms. Gulf states open back channels. Nations are maneuvering, adapting, building new routes forward without waiting for Washington. On the other side, you have Trump, governing through blunt force and fabrication. Tariffs on allies, threats against sovereign nations, sanctions relief for the country arming your enemy. social media posts claiming total victory while embassies burned. He posted that many countries would send warships to help. Not one agreed. He claimed total destruction of Iran's military while drones were hitting American installations. He rejected Zelensky while Americans died from the weapons Zelensky knows how to stop. And when asked about Moshe Khamenei, Trump said, "I do not know if he is even alive. I am hearing he is not alive, and if he is, he should surrender." Then he called it just a rumor all over the place, contradicting himself within the same answer. This is weakness broadcast to every capital on the planet. So what does this mean for you? Gas prices are climbing. Trump told NBC he is not concerned at all. He said things may be clogged up a little bit, but we will be unclogged very soon. If you drive a car, heat your home, or buy anything that moves by ship, the strait closure hits your wallet directly. Roughly 20% of the world's oil passes through that waterway. When nations build energy relationships directly with Iran and restructure supply chains to bypass the United States, those new trade routes do not disappear when the crisis ends. They become permanent. Once a supply chain restructures around a new partner, it does not come back because the politics calm down, the jobs and the money follow the new routes and they do not return. 3 scenarios from here. Scenario 1. Managed de-escalation back-channel negotiations brokered by Gulf states or China produce a framework where Iran reopens the strait in exchange for a halt to strikes. Both sides claim victory. The shooting stops, but the structural damage to American credibility stays permanent. The networks nations built during this crisis, the direct channels to Tehran, the diplomatic bypasses around Washington become the new architecture. The old order does not reassemble itself. Scenario 2, broader realignment. More nations follow the pattern already emerging. They stop waiting for Washington and build their own security and energy arrangements. Russia and China consolidate influence in the vacuum. As Phillips O'Brien noted, Trump's own posts are works of art for posterity. He claims total destruction of Iran's military, yet begs the former allies he has insulted to save him in the Gulf. The United States remains powerful but no longer sits as the unquestioned center of the global order. Scenario 3, the one nobody wants to name out loud. Escalation spirals. A carrier group is struck, a direct hit on a major population center, an accidental engagement with a third country, a wider war ignites, alliances fracture under forced choices, the global economy enters a crisis that makes 2008 look minor. This is the scenario. Trump's recklessness, bombing for fun, rejecting help, lying about readiness makes more likely every single day. Here is what's underneath all of it. The American order, as it existed before this war, is not coming back. Even if Trump reverses course tomorrow, the lesson has been absorbed by every watching. Capital. You never build your entire security architecture around a partner who might call bombing your region fun. You never put all your strategic eggs in a basket controlled by someone who lifts sanctions on the country arming your enemy while rejecting help from the ally who can save your soldiers. Israel is frustrated that no Iranian uprising has materialized. Perhaps because Trump calls Iranians nasty and menacing. Perhaps because Pete Hegseth talks about showing no quarter, which is a war crime. Perhaps because when you bomb elementary schools and hospitals, people do not rally to your banner. Perhaps because the Iranian regime points at Epstein and asks whether these are really the moral authorities you want running your country. Did Trump dismantle American leadership, or did it collapse under its own contradictions? Is anyone winning this war? Or is the whole world losing? When a president calls war fun and rejects every ally offering help, whose interests is he actually serving? Drop your answers in the comments. I read every single one. Subscribe because the next chapter, whether it is a wider Gulf escalation, a NATO rupture, the economic shockwave hitting your gas pump, or the global expansion I am covering in my next video, is coming fast. This story is not slowing down. Do not look away. This content is commentary and opinion protected under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, provided for informational and analytical purposes only. It does not constitute financial, legal, or geopolitical advice. Consult qualified professionals before making any decisions based on current events.